The outdoor Central Asia film crew has been to Lake Balkhash multiple times. We have reached the village of Karaoy. This is where the coated road ends. It's the last shop on our route. Heading into the desert, we need to stock up on water. Many staff of the Ile Balkhash Nature Reserve live in Karaoy. This is also where the checkpoint camp, from which all research expeditions start, is located as well. Amankas is an old friend of ours. During winter for 3 weeks, we had been installing photo traps at the feeding sites for boars. Increasing their population is the first and very important phase of the Turan tiger reintroduction project. Boars live in dense reed thickets among lakes and swamps. At times, Amankas uses his caterpillar off-roader, an SUV, a boat, or even has to walk to get to hard-to-reach spots. The village of Karaoy is located on the bank of the Nauryz Creek. Local soils are sandy, great for growing cucumbers, tomatoes and melons. Look at the nice apricot tree. Like in other arid ecosystems, the main issue here is water. We need to use it efficiently, and drip irrigation systems are great for doing that. The Nauryz flows into Lake Balkhash 60 kilometers away from Karaoy. The Ile Balkhash Reserve has several sites in the Ile River Delta and along the southern coast of Lake Balkhash. Two reserves were transferred under the reserves management, Karaoy and Pre-Balkhash, with a total area exceeding 1 million hectares. The reserves premises are divided into functional zones of different status. The conservation zone has the highest conservation level. Nothing can be done here except for research. Soft forms of tourism are allowed in the recreation zone. In the limited economic activity zone, everything is allowed that does not cause significant damage to wildlife. The Ile Delta represents a huge triangle with a height of 150 and base of 100 kilometers, the endless labyrinths of lakes, channels and islands. These wetlands are of global importance because this is where a lot of migratory birds take rest. Some of them even nest here, while the rest take breaks and recharge before long-distance migrations. A family of glossy ibises have settled on the bank of the Nauryz Creek. The Russian name of the bird, Karavaika, has apparently come from Kazakh. It is the distorted word Karabai, or black rich man in English. Kazakhs considered these birds as the messengers of material welfare. Interestingly enough, not only Kazakhs but even ancient Egyptians thought of ibis as a symbol of wealth and prosperity. Not without reason, the god Thoth was depicted with a long curved beak. Our expedition got really lucky. We not only saw the rare red-listed bird, but even got a unique chance to get rich. The Karaoy residents are celebrating the Day of Reserves and National Parks on the Nauryz Day for the 4th time. In short, it's called the March of Parks. Hundreds of thousands of conservationists from 200 countries around the globe participate in this global-scale nature protection action. This day, jointly with local communities, authorities, educational institutions, media and various charity organizations, especially protected areas, raise public awareness on the issues of environmental preservation. The purpose of the March of Parks held by the Ile-Balkhash Reserve is to draw public attention and get these living around the reserve on board. The March of Parks includes concerts, sports competitions, tournaments and, of course, a great feast. The young generation of Karaoy willingly participate in various environmental actions. Children are fond of nature study groups and protect the settlement's neighborhood in conservation volunteer squads. In conservation, the most important is the support of locals. Without it, we will not be able to preserve anything. Let's save our nature together. Each year, conservation organizations such as the United Nations Development Programme and World Wildlife Fund initiate various programs supporting local residents. Small grants are allocated to promote shifting to water-efficient agriculture practices. The task of water saving has gained special importance against the backdrop of most recent climatic changes. Initially, locals were wary of the idea of reviving the Turan tiger, but environmental education paid off, especially among young people. Grigory Armenovich, as the rest of Kazakhstan, our film crew has been closely watching the project to reintroduce tigers. Right, let me thank all the media in Kazakhstan which have been covering our efforts. Without any doubt, we have a lot to be proud of what has happened in recent years. People commonly call the Ile-Balkhash Nature Reserve, established in 2018, the Tiger Reserve. The first project phase aims to boost the number of ungulates and restore plant communities. The resettlement of tugai deer to the southern Balkhash area has become a true achievement. Every year, dozens of deer were released into the wild. This year, their population has reached 160. According to the International Veterinary Protocol, before letting wild animals out into new habitats, it is necessary to keep them in special open-air cages for about half a year. The most interesting will take place at night. At night, the deer will go along the fence and find out that there is no fence here. The release of deer into nature is called soft. Not to traumatize animals, the reserve staff simply remove a fence section and the deer leave the cage at night, gradually getting used to natural freedom. Come on, open it!
Сейчас потихоньку будут выходить, заходить, то есть видать, что они не есть. Все, вот открывается.
The Interagency Commission, comprising the scientists of Kazakhstan's Institute of Zoology, representatives of the World Wildlife Fund, Regional Wildlife Inspection and the reserve staff, monitor the release of animals. Photo traps help doing it at night.
Важно.
It is important that now on the premises of the Ile-Balkhash Reserve, we already have a full-fledged population of Bukhara deer. Monitoring the movements of released animals using satellite collars manifests a key element of this project. The battery will last for 2 years. Every 2 hours, the device will transmit data via satellite to a special computer, allowing researchers to track all deer movements in their new habitats. Drones also help scientists collecting additional information about the territorial distribution of animals. Could you try flying it into this section here? The remote sensing data allowed establishing that the tugai deer have already spread as far as 100 kilometers from the release point. Deer population recovery is one of the components of the tiger reintroduction project. We hope that similarly to the deer in several years, we will see the large striped cat comfortably settling down and taking root in the southern Balkhash area. Along with deer, boars constitute the main prey of tigers. Once upon a time, countless herds of boars used to inhabit the jungles around Lake Balkhash. Their numbers dropped drastically due to excessive hunting. Nowadays, the boar population has been quickly recovering as these species are very prolific and highly adaptive. It is vital to give boars additional food in winter. The biggest problem is when young boars cannot find any food to sustain themselves. This year, we have procured about 100 tons of corn cobs. The efforts of the Ile Balkhash Nature Reserve staff in the course of the last 4 years allowed increasing the number of boars at least threefold. The resettled animals, including tigers, can bring along new infections as well as get infected by the representatives of local fauna. Thus, such projects usually include thorough veterinary research. Wolves, foxes, jackals, badgers and weasels can serve reservoirs of various infections. Zoologists catch small predators using special live traps. Ordinary mackerel available in stores will come as bait. I have been researching large cats like tigers and leopards in the Primorsky region in Russia, and have come to the Ile Balkhash Reserve to investigate infectious diseases as part of the Tiger Reintroduction Project in Kazakhstan. Our tasks include the study of seropositivity to infectious diseases in local small carnivores posing threat to the Amur tiger. Wild animals will not sit quietly while a veterinarian collects their blood samples, so they have to be immobilized with special tranquilizers. Scientists know the dose for each species, including depending on animal age and weight. I would suggest 5 milligrams of Zoletil and 50 micrograms of meditamidine per 1 kilogram of weight. Construction of ranger centers represents another obvious project's achievement. The main field roads are controlled by the reserve's security service. Goitered gazelles do not belong to the main prey of tigers. However, the reserve has been conducting systemic work to restore their population too. The ecosystem-based approach to the conservation of specially protected areas requires careful treatment of all animals living in a habitat. There are several factors critically impacting goitered gazelle populations: poaching, competition with livestock, and the presence of watering sites. Whereas the influence of the first two factors on the protected area can be considered as reduced to zero, the reduction of the number of watering sites requires extraordinary solutions. Together with our friend Amankas, we are heading deep into the reserve's grounds to fill the artificial watering sites at abandoned wells with water. Some wells are protected with such concrete domes. Amankas lowers the submersible electric pump to the depth of 18 meters, and fresh water fills up the drinking bowls. In a week, we will have to repeat the operation. Central Asian type floodplain forests are called tugai woods. After the construction of the Kapshagai hydropower plant, their area has significantly shrunk. At present, with the support of the WWF Central Asia program, the reserve's Forestry and Research Units have been working to restore local tugai forests. Here, the reserve's Forestry Unit has been conducting Asiatic poplar seed reforestation research. That is, growing seedlings for further replanting across the reserve's territory. How old they should be to be ready for open soil? Hopefully next spring, after they get at least 10 to 15 centimeters high. Jibek by Bulov has been experimenting with different reforestation technologies. This installation, for instance, uses night dew. Whereas purple willow and oleaster easily take root almost anywhere where there is water nearby, poplar cultivation is much more difficult. Preserving the existing poplar groves is a priority. I think both the natural and anthropogenic factors play a role here. The falling water level in Lake Balkhash only aggravates the situation. It's a huge risk. If we keep on losing Balkhash, the gorgeous poplar woods may shrink even more or disappear completely. Our expedition stops for the night in a poplar grove. It's great spending a night in a poplar forest. The air is so nice and cool, although the mosquitoes and wild boars are an issue. Tent mosquito nets are enough to block mosquitoes. As to boars, last time I had my dog friend Delhi with me. He would heroically ward them off all night long and wake me up at times. They were roaming around the camp but didn't cause any serious problems. Floodplain fires remain an extremely dire threat to tugai forests. The reserve has set itself the task of creating an effective fire prevention and extinguishing system. Collaborating with local communities once again is most effective in this regard, as it is much easier preventing a fire than putting it out. The expert team designing the reserve's firefighting system will complete the work soon. The reserve's inspectors and rangers are doing their best to protect the premises from fires, and if they occur, extinguish them. Unfortunately, tugai floodplain fires are extremely fast, intense and dangerous. In addition, the landscape inside the reserve is quite complex, and there are very few roads. Fires often occur in hard-to-reach places. Together with the World Wildlife Fund, we have been implementing a project to build the reserve's fire prevention and extinguishing capacities. Among other things, the project allowed designing a system of fire prevention mineral strips, allowing to localize fires, procuring special equipment and tools, as well as conducting thematic trainings. We hope that these measures will help coping with this ominous threat. Our film crew will continue following the project on reviving Kazakhstan's tigers. There are also plans to bring back kulans to the southern Balkhash area. We hope to take part in this initiative as well and share it with our audience, of course. Now, our expedition is ending, as it's time for us to return home. Stay tuned for missions to no less fascinating corners of Central Asia.